Good morning. It is Thursday, April 30th, and today we will prepare for our volume and three-dimensional objects test by practicing. I'm just going to warn you, my dog is down here with me, and he was probably going to start barking at a certain point, so we'll see how that works out. All right, this is your reference sheet that's given to you. Now, again, there's something I want you to change on your reference sheet because I don't like how it's given to you. We're going to cross out pyramid. B is the area of the base, so it's 1/3 length times width times height. Cone's good, sphere's good, cylinder's good. General prism, again, that capital B is the area of the base times the height, because in general, volume equals the area of the base times the height. And we're going to write in, it's not even on here, rectangular prism, length times width times height. So once you have all those things written in, then you have all the information you need to do all your volume stuff. So let's jump right into it. What is the volume of a cylinder? So I go to my reference sheet. I go to my reference sheet. I don't know what happened there. I go volume of a cylinder. V equals pi r squared h. You might want to draw a picture to help. The height is 15. The diameter is 12. Everything is the same unit, so we're good. So the radius is half of the diameter, which is 6. The height is 15. Sometimes I type pi in, sometimes I don't. Since they have pi's in the answer, I am not typing pi in. So I just go to my calculator and I just type in 6 squared times 15. Six squared times 15. And I have 540. So my answer is 540 pi. Choice 2 is my answer. And that's it. If it wasn't in terms of pi, then I would type the pi in. Usually you're typing pi in unless you see pi's in the answer like you do here, or the problem says in terms of pi. So if it asks you for a straight up volume, you just go to your reference sheet, write down your formula, and substitute in. Number 2, the diagram below shows two figures. Figure A is a right triangular prism, and figure B is an oblique triangular prism. Oblique just means slanted. Use Cavaliers Principle to explain why the volumes of these two triangular prisms are equal. Well, if they ever want you to explain why volumes are equal, or anything about Cavaliers Principle, Cavaliers Principle states, if the area of the bases are the same and the heights are the same, then the volumes are the same. That's Cavaliers Principle. Whenever they ask you about volumes being the same, your answer is always the same thing. If the area of the bases are the same and the heights are the same, then the volumes are the same. We talked about that when I showed you the two different stacks of the CDs. One was messed up, one wasn't. The fact that the CDs are messed up doesn't change the amount of space that it takes up, because the area of the bases are the same, the heights are the same, and the volumes are the same. So again, if they ever ask you to explain why the volume of two things are the same, or it says Cavaliers Principle, if the area of the bases are the same and the heights are the same, then the volumes are the same. All right, let's get my pen back. Let's go blue. If the rectangle below is continuously rotated about side W. So to do a 3D rotation, that didn't work out well. To do a 3D rotation, I start by reflecting in 2 dimensions. So I'm going to reflect the rectangle about side W. And then whenever I'm rotating something in 3 dimensions, it's going in a circular motion. So I connect the original and the image with curves. What shape is that? Cylinder. Almost always you're going to end up with a cylinder or a cone. You can't end up with a pyramid or a rectangular prism because it has to go in a circular motion, which means there has to be curves, and pyramids and rectangular prisms don't have curves. Cross section is a 2-dimensional slice of a 3-dimensional object. So if I slice a cone, remember I took out the Play-Doh and I started slicing it. If I slice it vertically, I get a triangle. If I slice it horizontally, I get a circle. If I slice it diagonally, I get an ellipse. If I slice it vertically through the side, I get this parabola, but there's no way to end up with a square or a rectangle for a cone. So you can look back at the cross sections lesson if you need to. A lot of students have trouble spatially seeing in their mind. That's why we use the Play-Doh if you need help with that. So again, if you're not comfortable with this, I would go back to the cross sections video and watch that. A brick that weighs 1,824 grams has dimensions that measure blah, 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 blah. So let's draw it. 4 by 3 by 8. It's asking for the density. DMV. Density equals mass over volume. So the first thing I have to find is volume. The volume of a rectangular prism, I go back to my reference sheet. Since I fixed everything so nicely, I see my rectangular prism right there. V equals length times width times height. So V equals 8 times 3 times 4. You can use a calculator if you need to. 96 cubic centimeters. So your first step is always to find the volume. Now that I have volume, density is mass over volume. Well, it says the mass is 1,824 grams. The volume, it says, is, well, not it says, I found to be 96 cubic centimeters. So now I can just go to my calculator and divide 1824 divided by 96, and I get 19 grams per cubic centimeter. Density is mass over volume. Calculate the volume. Once I have the volume, I substitute into the density formula. A stone has a volume of 150 cubic inches. Weight, I see cost. Whenever you see weight and cost, that's when we use unit analysis. If you're not comfortable with unit analysis, look back at the unit analysis lesson. I start with what they give me. They give me 150 cubic inches. I don't start with a conversion, I start with whatever they give me. So now I'm going to look in the problem for cubic inches. Ultimately, I want cost. I don't have cost now, I have cubic inches. So I'm looking in the problem for cubic inches. I see it right here. I'm going from cubic inches to grams. So cubic inches goes on bottom. Whatever I started with goes on bottom. I'm converting cubic inches to grams. It's 5 grams for 1 cubic inch. Cubic inches cancel. Now I'm looking for grams. I see grams right here. I'm going from grams to money. So grams goes on bottom, money goes on top. It says it's 452 for 500 grams. So the 452 goes with the money, and the 500 goes with the grams. Now I have money. I want money. I'm done with my unit analysis. Now I'm just going to look for a quantity or a percent. I have a quantity of 12. So I'm going to multiply by 12. If it was a percent, you'd multiply by the percent as a decimal. Now I just go to my calculator. Alpha y equals enter. Since I have a fraction here, I'm going to type in all my tops. 150, 5, 452, 12. On bottom, I have 500, and I have 8136. And that's it. It's a pretty simple procedure once you get it down. It's definitely not simple to get initially, but once you get it, it's pretty straightforward. And again, for all these questions, you have a whole lesson, a video of a whole lesson on it. Go back and practice it. The volume of a cylinder. All right, volume of a cylinder. I go to my reference sheet, volume of a cylinder, pi r squared, V equals pi r squared h. So V equals pi r squared h. It's telling me the volume, so that means that V is 12,566.4. The radius is, I don't know, it's what it's asking me for. The height is 10. So if it gives me the volume, I'm going to have to do some algebra to find another piece of information. So to get r by itself, I'm going to start by dividing 10 pi. The 10 and the pi cancel. 12,566.4 divided by 10 pi. Alpha y equals enter. 12,566.4 divided by 10 pi. If you're not using alpha y equals enter, you're probably typing this in wrong, so be very careful with that. I get r squared equals 400 dot dot dot. Remember, we don't want to round to the very end. To get rid of the squared, I take the square root of both sides. Second radical, second answer, and to the nearest tenth, I get 20.0. So if it gives you volume, then you substitute in for V, and you do algebra to find the missing piece of information. Walter wants to... Something's missing here. Let me just pause this for a second. All right, sorry about that. Number 8. Carlos is preparing to sculpt a large rectangular block of stone. What is the surface area? Well, we got a song for surface area. Where's my pen? 2LW plus 2HW plus 2LH equals the surface area. List your length, your width, and your height. It doesn't matter which one's width. 12, 8, and 6. 2L is 12, W is 8, H is 6, W is 8, L is 12, H is 6. It's a very common mistake to make a mistake substituting in, so we can double check. I have 12 and 8, 6 and 8, 12 and 6. They're all different. If one of them is duplicated, then you probably made a mistake substituting in. From here, I just put it into the calculator. 2 times 12 times 8 plus 2 times 6 times 8 plus 2 times 12 times 6 is 432. So 432 square feet is your answer. Surface area is all about knowing your formula. 2LW plus 2HW plus 2LH equals the surface area. Sub in, and that's it. Walter wants to make 100 candles in the shape of a cone for his new candle business. Congratulations, Walter. Each mold will have a height of 8 and a diameter of 3. So I'm going to make a cone. The diameter is 3. The height is 8. We're talking about cost and everything else. So I'm going to end up doing unit analysis. The first thing I have to do is find the volume. Are my units good? Inches, inches, cubic inch, yes. So I don't have to do any conversions. So cone, I go to my reference sheet. Cone is V equals 1/3 pi r squared h. V equals 1/3 pi r squared h. 1/3 pi. The radius is 1.5. The height is 8. Again, for these real-life problems, almost always we're typing pi into the calculator. Since it wants my answer rounded at the end, 1/3 pi 1.5 squared times 8. 18 ... cubic inches. So now that I have the volume, I begin unit analysis. So I'm looking for cubic inches. There it is. I'm going from cubic inches to ounces. So cubic inches on bottom, ounces on top. 0.52 ounces is 1 cubic inch. Now I have ounces. I'm looking for ounces. I see ounces to money. So ounces goes on bottom, money goes on top. 0.10 for 1 ounce. Ounces are gone. I have my cost now, which is what I want. Is there a quantity or a percent? Yes, there's a quantity. So I'm going to multiply that by 100. I go to my calculator. Alpha y equals enter. Again, it's not 18. It's 18 ... So I'm going to copy and paste that whole thing. 0.52, 0.10, 100. On the bottom, I have nothing, which is just 1. I get 98.017. With cost, we always want to round to the nearest cent. 98.02 is your answer. And again, it's 18 ... not 18. And that's it. It's not that bad of a unit as long as you understand all the little components to it. You use your reference sheet, make sure you know how to use unit analysis. Practice. Your test will be due Sunday night. So your classwork / homework is to practice your volume and 3-dimensional objects packet, and then your test is due Sunday night. Today's Thursday. I mean, I would get it done Thursday or Friday, but you'll have until Sunday night to complete it. And if you have any questions, reach out to me and remind. I'm here to help you. I just helped a student one-on-one on Google Meets. I've been starting to do that. So if you have any questions, ask. I'm here for you. Practice, and I hope you do well in your test. It's a great opportunity for you to get a great fourth quarter grade. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. And again, reach out to me if you have any questions.